if you work out how much it's going to cost you to make your thing and how much you want to sell it for, and it just barely works, like the margins are just barely right, be very cautious, because once you actually go into production, it's pretty likely that things will change, and they always change in the direction of making it more expensive to produce it. So, you realize, well, that material we were going to put on the surface isn't durable enough, and so we have to swap that out for something else that's not going to scratch. Well, that's probably more expensive. Or that, that other part that we realized is not holding up when we do testing, like heat testing or something. Well, the replacement's probably going to be more expensive. So if you have no margin to have your bill of materials creep up, it's going to be tough, because you're probably going to wind up with your margins kind of screwy in the end.
Sure. One little thing, I think we see this a lot in crowdfunding campaigns. I hear this a lot. People come up to me and ask me for advice, and they're like, well, what I want to do is I want to have a really successful campaign. So what I'm going to do is, even though the margins don't support it, I'm going to take my price way down. You're just deferring a very painful lesson in doing that, right? And furthermore, an old rule is you can always lower a price, but you can very rarely increase it. So really think about that carefully, about what a successful campaign means to you, and sometimes trying to buy volume by lowering your price point during the crowdfunding campaign may not be necessarily doesn't create a sustainable price point, and B, may come back to bite you later on in terms of how much money you have if things get a little tighter than you expected, which they often do.
One other thing to think about is when you're doing the crowdfunding campaign and you're probably starting off by selling online, you're not giving any points away to the distributor. You're not giving any points away to retail, which allows you to have a lower price, but that puts you into a trap, right? I sold it for $99 on my website, but at Best Buy, I have to sell it for $149, right? And that people say, well, no, why would I pay $149? It's a $99 product. One way to approach that is to sell it at $149 on your website. Build in that distributor margin into your initial estimates.
You have to.
You have to.
I mean, there's no wholesaler that will deal with you if you're selling lower on your website.
Exactly.
Everyone expects that your website is the highest price to pay for the product.
And then that money that you will later give to retail is your margin in that first round of products, right? You think you've got plenty of money to give to retail, or to keep for yourself, because you don't have to pay for retail. Well, when you get your BOM wrong, that's how you're going to cover that. And when you have to rework parts, that's how you'll cover that. And then hopefully you can fix that before you get to higher volume and get that money back.